Alright, good evening everybody. It's Saturday night. That means one thing, we are live here with the Cyber Racing Association's Homes Now Not Later Super Speedway Series, where tonight we will be kicking off the second race of the season, and tonight we are at Talladega in the fixed K&N cars. We'll be set to go 80 laps here tonight. You guys will see after qualifying is over here, we had a little bit of technical difficulties here on the start thanks to Windows Fall Creators update and all that stuff, but luckily that happened during practice and we were able to catch it. So we have qualifying now going on as we see the 44 there of Dave Anderson. A little bit of a change up, as normally we see him running the Richard Petty colors. This time we see him in the black and red with almost a Gordon-esque and Jimmy Johnson numbers there on that 44 machine. But nonetheless, last week we saw a great race with the open trucks for the season opener, and tonight we have 16 drivers set, or 17 drivers actually, as you see the 18 and Gary Champion has made it in. We're set to go 80 laps, and normally you guys are used to seeing at least up to 3 green, white, checkered attempts. Tonight there, I guess from the season on now, there will only be 1 attempt at a green, white, checker, so we will be going 80 laps, even though you guys will see 83 once we advance from qualifying over into the race format. As we wait, looking to see who's going to get the fast lap here and set the car on the pole. Everybody out now pretty much doing their out lap and getting to their first lap now. Early on with the pole right now. Let's see who's going to get it. The 16 of Chris Brown right now with a 53.317. Backed up by the 00 of Dwayne Cooper with a 53.320. The 20 of Pondo Co with a 53.388. Now we see Tom LaBar in the 99 is going to take the top spot with a 53.175. Now, I think that's going to be something that we're going to see. Some of these drivers are really used to running these K&N cars, and with this being a fixed set, there are no advantages between any of these cars. I mean, yes, they're on teams with each other, but when you're running a fixed set, this is all about how you can get around the track the best way. And normally we know on your out lap, run up against the wall, second lap run pretty high, and then third lap stay all the way down on the bottom around that yellow line the entire track. As we see the 8 of Dana Osborne now with a 52.291. Fellow teammate, the 81 of Mark Jorgensen Jr. with a 52.304 in second. Now the 44 of Dave Anderson there, he is going to occupy the third spot with a 52.318. But I don't know if anybody's got anything for that 52.291. So while these guys are getting their final bits out here, as we see Raymond Rittenhauer taking the top spot here, we're going to go ahead and bring out the U.S. Army Marching Band and ask for everybody to please rise, remove your hats as we bring you tonight's national anthem. Amazing job as always, which is going to lead us into tonight's starting grid. As mentioned before the anthem was rolled out, the 87 of Raymond Rittenhauer is able to sneak the pole off, so there he is sitting on the top spot with a 52, 286. Starting to his outside will be the 8 of Dana Osborne with a 52, 291. Rolling off third will be fellow Southern Thunder teammate, the 81 of Mark Jorgensen Jr. with a 52, 304. And fourth spot will be 3 out of 4 of the Southern Thunder drivers, the 3 of Paul Servant with a 52, 307. Rolling off fifth will be the 18 of Gary Champion, David Anderson, and the 44 will start from the 6th position. Chris Akers in the 54 will roll off 7th. The 00 and final member of Southern Thunder will start from the 8th position. The 20 of Panoko rose off 9th. The 4 of Justin Levine, and last Monday Night Seasons champion, which makes it 3 in a row, the 4 of Justin Levine will round out the top 10. Gregory Thompson in the 88 rolls off from the 11th spot. The 48 of Jimmy Coleman will start 12th. Jim Peterson in the 58 will roll off 13th. Chris Brown in the 16 14th. Tom LeBar in the 99 15th. Jeremy Funk in the 97 16th. Rick Sebrands in the 17 is going to round out the field here as we get ready for the Mustang pace car to make its way. We still have, I believe, the 8 of Dane Osborne to grid as he has done so there. So now with this, once again, being a fixed setup, this is going to be some interesting heads-up racing, and there will be, as always, we do stage racing here, so these guys are required 1 mandatory pit stop per stage, and they are running limited fuel, and as always, these drivers have 1 quick repair in case they get into trouble. So our first stage will be 18 laps, our second stage will be 28 laps, and then our final stage to round out the 80 lapper here tonight at Talladega. So as we get these guys ready to go here, we're going to do what we always do and go to our favorite camera on the planet, the Crank It Up cam, as we see. Mike, what's the beer status on Brett Bodine tonight?
He went with some Becks tonight. He's going expensive.
Wow. Becks again. I think Brett is getting a sophisticated palate finally. But then again, we also know the 2 of Rick Sebrands is supplying that Yeti cooler in the pace car, so I think that has a little bit to do with it. Brett's got to put some classier beer inside of that very, very expensive cooler. Now, as they roll down the backstretch, we are less than half away from taking the green flag here and getting this race underway. And since we are in the Crank It Up cameras, go ahead and turn your volume up, rip the knob off, as we're going to get set to let these cars. Now, remember, with the K&N cars, it takes them about 2 to 3 laps to get completely up to speed, so we will stay, provided there's not a caution early on, for at least 2 to 3 laps in the Crank It Up view, so you guys get the full effect of just exactly how loud these Chevy Impalas are. But as the pace car gets ready to make its way off, we're about ready to take the green flag here. The 87 of Raymond Rittenhauer is going to lead us into the restart zone and get this race underway.
Green flag.
Green flag is out. We are underway. All right, as these guys come off of turn 4, they're already up to speed. We're gonna go ahead and bring out our little RPM bar. You can see they're sitting just under 8,000 RPMs, and if we go to our little bit, we can see right there our speeds, 201, 200 miles an hour going into the corner. These cars, I've got to say, out of all the disciplines that run on the plate tracks here, these K&N cars, hands down, are the fastest out there. The best in the draft. They're undoubtedly the fastest in the draft. I think we even see that this can rival any open setup, and these guys are running fixed here, so it's just a testament to these cars. As we see the outside line doing typically what it normally does, it's not really manifesting as much as it would. But now, and of course, that's all you gotta do is you just gotta mention something about it and everything will change. As we see out front, it is still the 87 of Raymond Rittenhauer with the lead, but not by much because he's got the 8 of Dana Osborne with the 3 of Paul Servant hooked up on his outside. The 81 of Mark Jorgensen Jr. pushing the 87 of Rittenhauer there on the inside. Now that, the 8, the 81, the 3, those are all 3 teammates right there. And cycle back to the 00, their last car up there on the high line. That would be the 4th member of Southern Thunder, as they're all sitting inside of the top 10, with the lowest being scored right now, the 00 Dwayne in 7th. We are 5 laps into it. Right now, we have 3 laps led by the 87 of Rittenhauer, 1 by the 8 of Dana Osborne. We get a good shot of these guys racing down the backstretch. We can see the 4 of Justin Levine there, tucked up behind the 54 of Chris Akers. You can see the 81 all over the back bumper of that 87 machine as they come off of turn 4. We've got our usual fast guys who want to run in the front pack, and then we've got our rather conservative guys that sit towards the back. 80 laps is a very, very long distance to go here at Talladega, seeing how each lap consists of 2.66 miles. So multiply that by 80 laps, they're going well over 160 miles here tonight. We're going to go ahead and we're going to look at the 87 here of Raymond Rittenhauer. We're going to look at his speed, inverse it off of some other drivers here. You see right now 204. .205 there briefly for a second. Now 206 as they enter turn 1 there. So that right there is blistering fast. And I can tell you last night, me, Tom LeBar, Rick Seabrands, and I believe, yeah, it was Pano Co. We were all running a fixed truck race. We were doing 200 in the trucks down the backstretch, and it felt like we were doing about 300 in them. Now, get behind the wheel of these cars, and now thanks to iRacing, we haven't had a chance to show it off here, but now we can finally do it, as we will go on board with the 87. You can finally see what we've been wanting to see for forever. Look at the tack. He is holding that car right there just below, hitting the chip on this thing. This has been something that iRacing has had in the past, but we have not seen it for several years, and they finally brought the feature back out. It'd be nice if they got the full gauge cluster working so we could monitor their water temps, their oil temps, fuel pressure, and all that. But we'll be satisfied with just the tack for now, because that was always annoying seeing the thing sitting at 0 all the time. As they come out of the corner here, still the inside line with the advantage, but as we always know, that outside groove, if they can get the run off the corner, they will carry it through the tri-oval. We definitely always see it coming down the backstretch here. And now we've got 4 fast cars there on the outside, the 8, the 3, the 44, and the 00. But you cannot discredit the 87, the 81, the 18, and the 4 either, as well as the 54. They're all fast cars, as you can see right there. The one thing that we have to point out, though, if you guys are new to these K&N cars, is that it's a very, very fine line between bump drafting these cars and turning them. As you can see, the noses on these cars are pretty much a spade shovel, whereas the back of them are completely flat. It's like a 2x4. So if you so much as get a hair off of dead center, that's the difference between a successful bump draft and putting somebody in the wall, or just breaking them loose and causing what we've seen several times throughout the several seasons that we've covered these guys happen, and that unfortunately is usually almost always the big one. But if there's anybody that knows how to do the bump right, it would be that 81, as he is still committed behind the 87 of Raymond Rittenauer. It looks like all the drivers minus 2 have decided they want to get back up there and race with the pack, as it will be 7 laps to go to the end of the first stage here. Looking at what will be coming up, the 97 of Jeremy Funk will be the first car going a lap down, provided we stay green and these guys don't peel off pit road too quick. But we see now the 00 drop down to the bottom groove. Now these drivers can make it, but I do believe that we still follow under the mandatory pit stop, 1 per segment. So look probably around lap anywhere from 15 to taking the white flag for the stage for these guys to come down and pit. The one thing I'm not seeing here tonight that we usually do see, and of course it is still early on, we're not really seeing them side draft really hard, especially there through 1 and 2. Usually these cars are stuck right next to each other in the corner, but we're not really seeing that. They're kind of maintaining their lanes. I'm going to take a wild stab at it. I'm going to say the one reason why we're not seeing it is because of the one detrimental problem that iRacing still seems to not be able to figure out, and that would be net coding. Now, it's a rather boring thing to talk about, but it is something that's very important because netcode does play a big factor in a lot of these wrecks. Now, iRacing uses a coding system, as we see there, the 97 Jeremy Funk getting lapped by the field. They use a coding system that sends a signal from the car, basically on your end of the service to their end, as to where your relative position on the track is. Now, sometimes that data gets a little bit screwed up, and we've seen it before where cars have gone around and you could have fit another car and gone 3 wide, but that's the I guess the kick in the nuts with netcode. It doesn't matter if it's only a couple inches or if it's 3 or 4 feet or even a full car width. It can happen at random, and it is very non-discriminate. It will take anybody out at any given time. So you see now the high line everybody hooking up to, the 87, the 81 down on the bottom. We have the 4 of Justin Levine. He has moved his way up there to the high groove. He's going to fall in line behind the 8, the 3, and the 44. Now Justin's got the option, as we see there. He's going to duck down to the bottom line. He has the good position here where he can float in between the bottom groove and the upper line. We see definitely they're starting to get more broken out here. So
Caution's out, not
we've
caution's
got a
out.
caution, so that's going to allow everybody to come down pit road. And
Well, you're sure you got your release mark correct
that
coming
will be
into pit
on
road?
00,
Yes, I do, sir.
and that will end the stage. As we see the 00 there, we're going to back it up and give you guys an instant replay, see what happened there. We see him going down into one. Oh, looks like he made a little contact there with the 54. Sends both of them around. I think the 54 was able to gather it up, but the 00 had to refire, let the rest of the field go by, spin it around, and apparently the 54 sustained some heavy damage in that as well. So more than likely we will see the 54 team rolling out the backup car as we are working our first caution of the night here on lap 15, now 16. So we see the 8 of Dana Osborne being scored as your race leader. He has caught the pace car in turns 3 and 4. We should see the entire field come down pit road here for their scheduled stop. As we see everybody staying low slung down the track, that is a sign that everybody should be coming in for service. So as they do, we will get them as they come down pit road here. You'll see them come from underneath the rolling ticker up there as they make their way down pit road. Now the pit road speed here is 55 miles an hour versus Daytona, which is 60. So we see everybody coming down to their respective boxes here. I think we'll see probably a lot of fuel onlys here, seeing how this is just the first stage, but we do see right sides up on the 87, fuel only for the 8 as well as many other drivers. Right sides only for the 87 of Raymond Rittenhauer. So we see there the 2 of Rick Seabrands, the 16 of Chris Brown, the 48 of Jimmy Coleman, the 00 Dwayne Cooper, the 58 of Jim Peterson, 99 of Tom LaBarre. And we did in fact see the fast repair used on that 54 machine as he is going to roll off pit road. And the 00 did not use his quick repair, so didn't look like he fared too worse in that one. So I think that might be a strategy call there out of the 00's team. But while we are working our first caution, we're going to go ahead and cut to a quick commercial break and be back with the action here at Talladega.
Green flag.
Alright folks, thanks for sticking with us there. I swear I hate my ISP extremely. This has been a known problem for almost a month now, and they still have been refusing to come out and fix the issue, so pardon the language, but I'm more than fucking pissed off at them by now. As soon as the frames start coming back into place here, we should be back up. As right now it's showing you guys on lap 20. We are actually on lap 23 with the 8 of Dana Osborne still out front. We've got 3 of the 4 Southern Thunder guys hooked up, the 3 of Paul Serpent behind the 8 of Dana Osborne, the 81 of Mark Jorgensen Jr. on the outside. I think they're almost catching up, but it's going to take a little while as these frames continue to stabilize out. We see them battle down the backstretch. It's going to be the 8 versus the 81 who's going to have the run as they go into turn 3 here. We see the 4 of Justin Levine. He's going to be hooking up with the 81 of Mark Jorgensen Jr. We see the 48 there of Jimmy Coleman, the 58 of Jim Peterson. Several drivers opting to go up to the high side and run with these guys here. We see the outside line there kind of stretching it out there on the back stretch. You can see the 88 there, Gregory Thompson, the Mellow Yellow machine, giving a little bit of breathing room. He's joined by the 54 of Chris Akers and the 20 of Pondo Co. Now, Pondo is in the good spot right here where he can go back and forth between the upper and lower lines. As right now he's going to stick to the bottom side. So we can see the back 3 cars being led there by the 00 of Dwayne Cooper. As they come to the line this time, it will be the 81 of Mark Jorgensen Jr. leading his third lap of the night here. The 8 of Dana Osborne with 12 in the books. Raymond Rittenhauer with 10. And those will be your lap leaders so far as we are working at lap 26 here. As they come off the corner here, let's see how they do through the tri-oval. Then it looks like the advantage is going to go to the inside line right now, as the 8 of Dana Osborne will be scored with that lap. That will be his 13th in the books. As you can see there, just 2 cars can get a decent run going, as we see the 4 of Justin Levine get up to the back bumper of the 81. But right now we've got the 8 and the 3 nose to tail. We see the 16 of Chris Brown there. The 48 of Jimmy Coleman is going all the way up to the top groove there. He's going to be passed by the 58 of Jim Peterson, the 88 of Gregory Thompson, and the 54 of Chris Akers. As we see the 87 of Raymond Rittenhauer making his way down pit road. So at the line, no contest. It'll be the 8 of Dana Osborne leading his 14th lap of the night here at Talladega.
I think we're under.
And we've got a caution on the track. That will be the end of stage 2, so no cars involved there, which is why we saw the 87 come down. So hand the stage win over to the 8 of Dana Osborne. As the field is going to have to come around and collect the pace car. We should see him pick up the pace car here in the entrance of turn 3 as he's going to slow down here. So the field will catch the pace car in the middle of 3 and 4 here. And we should see once again all drivers making their way down pit road for not their final pit stop, because they're definitely going to have to take one more aside from this one to finish out the race. So you see the entire field bunching up. Once again, we'll see them all coming down pit road here. Being led down by our race leader, the 8. And once they get far enough down, I'll switch cameras to the pit box. That way you guys don't have to watch them come down through the overlay. So you see the 8 leading everybody down. Now, the one person who benefited the most out of this would be the 87 of Raymond Rittenhauer, as he has already come down and taken a pit service. So he will be scored as our race leader, and as we get the race off of pit road here, we see several guys staying in for a little bit more work done while we are under caution. See the 00 coming in. Go ahead and get back up here to the lead though. We can see there the 87 out in front of the pace car. He's going to have to slow down and let the pace car pass him. Also staying out would be the 18 of Gary Champion. As we see the 87 and the 18 both opting to stay out under this caution here. Hopefully we see the lights on the pace car go out and we can get the final stage underway here at Talladega. And this time around, seeing how my internet's not being a piece of shit as it has been, we can give you guys a run through of the top 10. But the lights will not go out this time by, so we will go at least 2 more times around before restarting this race. Now, assuming that nobody dives down pit road with 1 to green, the way that this is going to stack back up is the 87 of Raymond Rittenhauer will be your race leader, followed by the 18 of Gary Champion, even though it's showing 2 different things. We'll just wait until the iRacing pace car lights go out and we can get a proper field order set up here instead of feeding you guys the wrong information. Now, this is something that normally I've been luckily able to avoid, but tonight I guess it's only a matter of time for fate to bite me in the ass, as I'm probably going to be chewing a lot of heads off later after this race is over when I call charter and tell them that they can pretty much take their ISP and shove it up their ass. But the problem with that being is they're the best service that we have around here. So as the pace car makes its way off of turn 4, hopefully we see the lights go out after it goes through the tri-oval and we can get these guys stacked up for the restart here. And as the lights on the pace car are out, to get the scoring order, we're going to have to relaunch our TVO, so hang with me for 1 second here.
Green.
All right, as we pull off of the cameras here, back to the regular Fox cameras. We got the battle going on between the 18 of Gary Champion and the 87 of Raymond Rittenhauer. See the 81 and the 3, both Southern Thunder teammates there, pushing the 18, the 8 of Dana Osborne, and the 16 of Chris Brown in line behind the 87 of Raymond Rittenhauer. As we see the 00 Dwayne Cooper as well in the mix, as well as the 4 of Justin Levine up there on the high groove. We did see there coming through the corners that the 81 had to let out a little bit as he gave the 18 a little bit of a shot, and it upset the 18 just enough to where he kind of had to back out of the throttle a little bit, which did hurt the outside line momentarily, but they've gathered it back up, and once again, we're seeing the same thing through 1 and 2. They're back to door, and oh, the 18 gets turned around by the 81.
Caution. How you doing in there, kid?
Is going to bring out our second actual caution of the night. We're going to go back and take a look at that from the 81's point of view here. There we see the hook, the turn, the 3 of Paul Servant involved as well. You can see the damage there on the 3 machine. We're also going to go to the 18 of Gary Champion and see what kind of damage he got out of that one. As we go back to the initial hook right about there. We see the 18 get hooked. Stays up high against the wall, rolls it backwards. He's got the rear brakes locked down. Gets it down, refired, and gets it turned back around. So Gary's car doesn't look all that bad. The 3's looks a little bit worse, and the 81 doesn't really look that worse for wear. As we see everybody making their way down pit road here again, once again we'll see everybody coming in for probably a splash and go or maybe right sides. See everybody on the race off pit road there. right, so this time now we'll be able to get a proper run through the field here, as looks like we've had a couple people stay out, including the 54 of Chris Akers and the 88 of Gregory Thompson, as well as the 58 of Jim Peterson. Now tonight's race, we're just going to chalk up to Murphy's Law. If anything can go wrong, it will go wrong. And see the 8, the 44, the 3, they're going to come down pit road, top off with some more Sunoco race fuel. So as the lights on the pace car are out, the drivers are doubled up. Restarting with the race lead will be the 54 of Chris Akers, just outside the 88 of Gregory Thompson. Restarting third will be the 58 of Jim Peterson. The 87 of Raymond Rittenhauer will restart from the 4th position. 16 of Chris Brown, 5th. The 4 of Justin Levine, 6th. The 00 of Dwayne Cooper, 7th. The 48 of Jimmy Coleman, 8th. The 2 of Rick Seabrand's, 9th. And the 20 of Pondo Co is going to round out the top 10 as the pace car makes its way onto the backstretch. That right there, the last caution that we saw, is exactly what I talked about earlier on during the race. That is just a bump draft gone bad. And this time,
we say it a lot with this, with the K&N car, but it's, you know, the 81's aggressive. He's an aggressive guy, and he was pushing. He was trying to get Gary up to the front, and a little bit of a push on the one side, and that's all it took.
So we've seen it time and time again. These cars just being the most prone to it due to the aerodynamic shape of the nose versus how squared off and old school retro the rear of the car is. It's trying to put the round peg in a square hole scenario, and it's just not work at all, as we saw there. Luckily, it looked like all 3 vehicles involved weren't severely damaged, but it was damaged enough, especially for the 3 of Paul Servant, that I would go ahead and roll the backup car out for. But as we can see there, the 3 has taken his backup car out. 54 of Chris Akers is going to lead us into the restart zone as the Mustang pace car drops down on the pit road. It'll be 42 laps to go when they take the line.
Ready, green flag.
Green is back out. We're back underway here with the Cyber Racing Association's Homes Now Not Later Super Speedway Series. We're going to look back here right around the 9th position. That is the 48 of Jimmy Coleman, as the 20 of Pano Koza on the inside of him, trying to take the position away. And as they cross the line, he will get that spot. And Mike, here's something that we've seen, and now we're seeing it again. The 58 of Jim Peterson right now, second car on the bottom groove. He had said before the season started that he was done riding around on the back and that he was going to race aggressive, and we ended up seeing him actually go to victory lane for the first time, his first win with Cyber. I think his new driving strategy is definitely paying off here.
Yeah, you know, I thought we saw the old Jim Peterson back, because in the beginning of the race he was riding around the back, but I guess they waited those 2 segments, and now he's got his nuts on the dash and he's going hard.
And you got to respect the driver for doing that. It's either go hard or go home, especially with these guys. They are not afraid to stick it 3 and 4 wide. If you leave an opening there, that 00 being probably one of the most notorious drivers for doing it. If you leave a hole open, there is a car that is more than willing to fill that spot up, as these guys are definitely some of the scariest people to run against if you're not used to really, really hard racing. Is we're going to go 3 wide on the backstretch here. This is exactly what I'm talking about. These guys are not afraid to make bold moves, as we see the 00 doing a little bit of blinking there. Looks like it's sorted out, but we are still 3 wide as the 48's got to file back in, as we see Dwayne now showing some heavy damage there from, I don't know if that's netcode damage from him blinking, or if he actually did go out there and smack the wall that hard. It's hard to tell when the cars do netcode like that, or when they lose their tracking and they, what we call it as blinking, which more often than not turns into turn signals. But judging by the way that car is handling, I think what we're seeing is just false flag damage on that 00. Because if it had that much, he would not be up to speed like that. As we come off of turn 4, the 54 still with the lead here, but looks like the 16 was going to make a challenge run for it. That will be Chris's 7th lap led of the night, as now we do see the outside line coming into play here. So we get a good look there at the 99 of Tom Labar. He's trying to take position away from the 44 of David Anderson. That is for 8th and 9th. See the 2 of Rick C. Brands in front of him, as well as the 87 of Raymond Rittenhauer. Meanwhile, we've got the 16 of Chris Brown being pushed by the 4 of Justin Levine. The 54 of Chris Eggers being pushed by the 58 of Jim Peterson. And now there we go. Now you can see the damage now has disappeared off of the 00, so that was from just the false flag damage. That car still is clean. And at the line, once again, it will be the 54 for his 8th lap. That 16 machine there trying to edge out the 54 to get his first lap. Actually, he does have one in the books. We see the outside line with 4 cars, inside line a lot more than that. I think a lot of these guys now, their strategy has changed big time after knowing that we're in the final stage. We have 37 laps to go here. It'll be 36 at the line. We see a little bit of contact there from the 58 to the 4, Justin Levine. That's going to shoot the 00 out to the high groove, as right now he is on the outside of the 88. He's going to have to either commit to that lane or back off and drop back in. And right now I think he's still going to try and play that 3rd lane as they go down the backstretch. But he's going to drop back in behind the 88 of Gregory Thompson. You see the little bit of damage there to the left front fender of the 4 machine, and you can see the corresponding little bit of damage there to the right side of the 58. But once again, that is the more aggressive side of Jim that we are absolutely freaking amazed to see. This is a great thing to see. Not only the series sponsor, I mean, Jim puts out a lot of money for these races, as well as Dwayne. So it's great to see Jim finally up here in the front, getting a lot of TV time. And it's just hands down. I've raced with Jim a lot. He's a hell of a plate track racer. And him riding around the back like he always used to was definitely not what he was capable of doing. And now I think that Radical's done so much in the past 2 seasons with 2 back-to-back team championships. I think Jim's gonna step up to the forefront here and try and make it 3 for 3. There was some side drafting going on as they crossed the line that time. So finally, the 16 of Chris Brown will get scored with a lap lead. That'll be his first of the night. Now the one thing we're going to see is some of these cars are going to start swaying, especially on the bottom side. That's going to be indicative of not taking tires. The more laps you put on these tires, as we see, that's the 18 of Gary Champion there. He's involved in that caution. He has not taken his quick fix yet, so he is going to get lapped by the field there. But the push that we're seeing is indicative is the more laps you put on these tires, the more the car is going to want to push off the corner. And we will see the inside line sometimes shift up a half to 3/4 of a lane off exit 2 and 4. Right now, pretty much the entire field is all back grouped together, minus the 18 we can see back there, heavily damaged. Even if he was up to speed without damage, with these guys moving at the speed they are, he wouldn't have been able to catch the draft with a clean car. Now the question that I'm going to start asking is, how long can these guys run behind each other like this before they have to start stepping the car out to breathe? And that's when we might potentially see something go wrong, is if one car moves to the inside, and the other car moves to the outside, that's going to be contact, or vice versa, the other way around.
Caution.
Oh, and
What do
there
you got now?
is... Looks like that was the 58 turning the 54, but as always, we're going to go ahead and give you guys the instant replay there.
Yeah, Art, that was exactly what you just said. The 58 came up and then came back down, and he didn't. I don't think he thought he was pushing the 54, and he just gave a good old turn.
Well, old tires and a little bit of side sway, that'll do it every time. As we see him right now going into 1 and 2, we're going to watch for the push here off of the corner to C. You can see... No, it looks like he gets up there. No, that was a bumper hook. Wow. That was actually after the exit too. He just got up there and got into the left rear of the 54, and unfortunately that sent the 54 around. So that will give the 16 of Chris Brown the race lead. So undoubtedly these guys are going to be coming down pit road, and I guarantee you, I don't have to be a betting man on this one. I'm pretty sure if the 18 of Gary Champion has not used his fast repair by now, he will do so, since we were under caution here.
Yeah, you just never know when you're going to get that opportunity again to take it. So if he doesn't take it now, he might really be screwed.
So as they come down pit road here with 30 laps to go as they'll cross the line coming out of pit road, I think it's going to be a close race on fuel strategy here, but I believe some of them will be able to make it. It all depends on if we see that yellow flag fly again.
Yeah, you also might see some guys topping off with 1 to go.
Well, if it was me, and it was just like the hosted race that me, Rick, Tom, and Pondo ran last night, we were definitely clutching the hell out of the cars. Well, trucks in that case, but we were definitely clutching the vehicles and coming down with 1 to green to top off as many times as we could. And we're going to go on board here with our race leader, just so you guys can see exactly what we're talking about. Right now, that car is turned off. watch the tack, and you see him fire it back over. Right now, he's cycling his ignition on and off, which is the smart thing to do, because if you clutch it, it's still going to burn fuel because it's idling, but if you roll it up and down enough, just clutching it and staying down there on the apron, you can save a couple laps of fuel. As we see the 18 of Gary Champion there will get a wave around. That way he will be able to make it down pit road, get his fast repair, and hopefully be able to get back into this thing. Now, they do try to get as many drivers back on the lead lap as possible. That way it's not, you're just stuck in the back of the pack with nothing that you can do. But we're definitely going to see a lot of clutching, cycling the ignition on and off here, and like Mike pointed out, probably a lot of guys coming down with 1 to green to top off with Sunoco race fuels. They are running limited fuel here. Alright, we see the lights on the iRacing pace car still on, so 2 laps at least until we take the restart here. Alright, while we are under caution, we're going to hopefully take our last sponsor break here of the race, and these guys can finish it out green flag here, and we will return hopefully with the lights on the pace car out, double back up so we can give you the restart order. Alright, and as the pace car exits turn 4, hopefully as it makes its way through the tri-oval here, we can get everybody bunched back up for our hopefully final restart of the race, and these guys are going to run it green flag out the rest of the way. We see the lights on the pace car are out, so we will go through the top 10 here. Restarting with the race lead will be the 16 of Chris Brown, the 4 of Justin Levine to his outside in P2. The 87 of Raymond Rittenhauer will restart 3rd, the 44 of David Anderson 4th. The 81 of Mark Jorgensen Jr. 5th. The 8 of Dana Osborne 6th. The 3 of Paul Servant 7th. And Mike, I'm seeing a pattern here. The 00 of Dwayne Cooper 8th. That's all 4 Southern Thunder cars, 5, 6, 7, and 8. 9th will go to the 2 of Rick Seabrands, and the 88 of Gregory Thompson's going to round out the top 10.
Yeah, you know those Southern Thunder boys, they ready to get back up there. I mean, they were riding around the back there for a little bit, but You know Junior's ready to go. You know Paul's ready to go. All those guys. Just a bunch of maniacs up there in that Southern Thunder team.
I think this is definitely going to be their strategy move. So I'm looking here on the backstretch, and I don't think I need to adjust my eyes. I do believe that 54 is driving sideways on the straightaway. So we will stay off of the crank it up cam on this restart because I want to see how these closing laps here at Talladega are going to shake out. As we can see a nice little wedgie there on the 81 of Mark Jorgensen. But there we see the 81, the 8, the 3, and the 00. That, as Mike mentioned, it is all Southern Thunder right there. So they'll be controlling 2 lanes too deep here on this restart. It'll be interesting to see if they both, if Paul and Mart make a hole and allow the 8 and the 00 to come down. But 16 here of Chris Brown is leading us into the restart zone. Pace car's down away. We should get the green flag momentarily, and we're going to find out if strategy is going to come into play. So the green flag is out. See the 54 down on the apron there, and we see the 4 of Justin Levine getting a great jump as he's easily able to clear the 16 of Chris Brown. That'll leave the upper groove there open to the 44 of David Anderson. He's got the 8 of Dana Osborne, the 00 Dwayne Cooper behind him, as well as the 88 of Gregory Thompson. Now Justin, we know he's 3 for 3 right now, so he's working his way up for Earnhardt status. As we see the 44 of David Anderson get pushed out in front. That'll give Dave the inside. Now open the door for the 8 of Dana Osborne, being pushed by his teammate, the 00 Dwayne Cooper, as they come off of turn 4 here. So at the line, give it to Dave.
I'm not sure what happened in that restart. The 16 just, he didn't go. I don't know if he was busy choking Rihanna or something like that, or he just didn't go.
Shit happens, man. Especially when your name's Chris Brown. You got business you got to take care of. I don't know. I was looking at it, and it almost looks like he over-revved and kind of that's what gave a little bit of a check up there. It definitely wasn't a missed shift because we would have seen that 16 get reverse re-on it, but I think what he did is he just spanked the hell out of the rev limiter there and mistimed his shift, which left the door open, and we saw the 4 and the 44 were able to clear us. Now the 4 is going to mount the charge back up on the high side. So it'll be 3 on 2 as they get to the line. Easy, no contest. The 4, Justin Levine, will lead that lap as he's going to be dropping down. And we saw a little bit of a fake there by the 8 of Dana Osborne. Oh, and the 00 goes around. And he's going to, everybody, it's going to stay down below, but no caution yet. They stayed below the racing surface. I don't see how that was not a caution. They're 3 wide going down the backstretch. Here's another quirky thing about iRacing. Sometimes when shit happens right in front of you, iRacing doesn't throw the caution out. Now this will be solely up to the race control here as to whether they do throw one or not, but as of right now, we will stay green flag, and that will hand the race lead right now over to the 8 of Dana Osborne.
That couldn't have worked out any better for Southern Thunder.
Well, with the exception of one driver, but I guess it's a sacrifice for the greater good. As right now we see them all there on the bottom groove, 1, 2, 3 in the line, the 8, the 81, and the 3. On the outside, we've got the 4 of Justin Levine, the 20 of Pondo Co. And as they come around, the 44 of David Anderson on the inside. 4th car in, we've got the 88 of Gregory, 88 of Gregory Thompson. Now we see the 16 of Chris Brown. Hopefully those two can get together, hooked up, and get pushed back up here to the front. 5 or front 6 here. Right now we see the outside line getting a good run here down the backstretch. But with knowing the guys that are on the inside, it's going to be some stiff competition. I mean, Justin's a hell of a race car driver, but he does have some left front damage on the 4 machine. And it does not look like the outside is as committed as the inside is, at least not for the front 3 cars. Right now, looking at the most laps led, it'll go to the 8 of Dana Osborne with 18. The next closest to that would be the 87 of Raymond Rittenhauer with 16 laps led. Then the 54 of Chris Akers with 11. The 81 of Mark Jorgensen Jr. with 3. The 4 of Justin Levine with 2. The 44 of David Anderson with 1. The 16 of Chris Brown with 6. Right now, the only help that 16 machine has is the 87 of Raymond Rittenhauer, but I don't think those two are going to be able to catch these 7 guys there. So we do see the 54 of Chris Akers up high. Oh, and the 4 goes around, and we've got
Caution.
another mess on the backstretch
What do you
here.
think, bud? You think you're all right out there?
We're going to go on board with the 20 of Pondo Co. and see if we can see what happened there. As we back it up a bit here, this will be coming to the line here. What we're going to be looking for is coming off of turn 2. Pay attention to the second car there on the outside line. Let's see what happens here, and if I have any bet. Oh, there it is right there. Net code is, wow, we had to see a rare instance there as the 3 bicycled. But that was net code there between the 20 of Pondo Co. and the 3 of Paul Servant. That is what I was trying to preach earlier about one of the biggest pet peeves that we all have with iRacing is the how bad the net code can be sometimes. I mean, sometimes it could be like there where it was maybe about 10, 11 inches, if that. But we've seen worse cases where it's been, you could drive another car through there and somehow magically the sim registers that 2 cars made contact. So with 19 laps to go when they cross the line here, this is going to give everybody the opportunity, if they want to come down, top off the tank, maybe take right sides, do something. This is going to be the final strategy calls. Even if we do get another caution, if they're not involved in it, I highly doubt we're going to see anybody else coming down pit road, as everybody will be definitely in the good to run out the last leg here at Talladega.
Yeah, that caution really benefited a lot of drivers. There was a few drivers that had to slow down and got checked up for the Dwayne Cooper spin. So those guys are really happy right about now. I know Chris Brown is probably ecstatic.
Well, that's the other thing too that I think that we really get pissed off a lot with iRacing is when we saw the instance with the 00 there. That clear as day should have been an iRacing caution, and the caution was not thrown. So that's one thing that we hate to see. But definitely, like you said, it does benefit a lot of drivers like the 54, the 18. So we see the 3 sitting on pit road still. See the 18 on pit road, the 00.
I'm pretty sure the 3 already used his fast repair from that first wreck.
Yes, he did. So
I don't think he's coming back out.
No, I don't either, and that's going to set it up for the 8 and the 81 there. So it's going to come down to Dana and Mark here to see if they can keep the dream alive here. So we see the two of Rick Seabrand's there rocking that Yeti paint scheme there. We got to throw a shout out to him for supplying Brett Bodine with the iRacing Pace Car cooler. And I'm not sure where Brett gets his beer from, but I'm pretty sure it gets smuggled in from one of the drivers here just before he gets in the car before the race. But nonetheless, he's got to be still pretty sober because he's running one hell of a straight line here on this track. I know I said before it was going to be the last time we cut to a commercial break, but while we're under caution, we might as well do so again. Seeing how earlier on we started off a little bit rocky with my ISP deciding it wanted to completely douche on me, so we're going to cut to yet another commercial break to hopefully make up for it, and we will return with the action here at Talladega. Alright, and as we return, hopefully this time by, the lights on the pace car go out. We can double the field back up for, and I'm going to knock on wood as best as I can here.
Don't say it. Don't say it.
I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it, but I'm knocking on wood. Make sure we don't have another one.
You're kind of like bringing out the show and curse.
I got labeled. Let's just say they'll pull out the double green flag. They threw that other flag into the fucking stands now. They're done with that. Better yet, they'll have a fan draw on one and make a smiley face that says, "Let's race." As we float through the tri-oval, we are watching the lights on the pace car. Hopefully they do turn off as we see a couple cars dipping down to top off with fuel. We see the 00 there getting a wave by. And judging by the line, the lights are going to go out on the pace car, so we're going to double the field back up. Restarting with the race lead will be the 8 of Dana Osborne. Starting to his outside will be fellow Southern Thunder teammate, the 81 of Mark Jorgensen Jr. The 2 of Rick Seabrands will restart third, the 87 of Raymond Rittenhauer fourth, the 16 of Chris Brown fifth, the 20 of Hondo Co sixth, the 99 of Tom Labar, who we really haven't seen much of inside the top 10 in this race, will be restarting seventh. The 4 of Justin Levine, despite being involved in that last wreck, will restart eighth, as well as the 3 of Paul Servant. He will restart ninth, and rounding out the top 10, a name that we haven't really said a lot about either tonight, the 97 of Jeremy Funk is going to round out the top 10.
Yeah, I kind of feel like Rick and Tom Labar were just kind of hanging out there, you know, just hiding in the back, and you know, now it's go time. There's not that many laps left, and I'd look for the 2 to do something here.
I definitely would. I'd have to agree with that one because running with the 2, the 99, and the 20 last night, they were on point with when we needed to move, where we were going to go, what we were going to do, when to time it, who was going to go where. I mean, it was just absolutely flawless. It was almost military precision between Tom, Rick, me, and Pondo, and we were just able to control the inside and the outside line. It was absolutely amazing. It sucked that there was some what we call window lickers in the races. It's always going to happen with hosted racing, but nonetheless, though, we had some badass strategy going on. And if there's anybody out there that knows how to run strategy, it's the 99, the 2, the 20. Hell, most of these guys are pretty damn good at strategy. The 3 is good. The 87, the 4. Fuck, the entire field is great as the pace car. Almost looked like he was going to come back and hit the 8 of Dana there, but thank God he's non-collision. The 8 of Dana Osborne's going to lead us here into the restart zone. It'll be 16 laps to go as they cross the stripe.
Ready, green flag
is out. We're back underway, and hopefully we can finish this one out under the green flag. They barrel down the backstretch here, door to door between the 8 and the 81. We got the 87 of Raymond Rittenhauer on the outside pushing the 81. The 2 of Rick Seabrand's pushing the 8. See a little bit of bobble there out of the 16, but that is prone to happen. Especially, we all know, anybody who's ever raced this track knows that, especially through the tri-oval, if you're running the lower groove, there's this annoying ass pothole that's like right in the middle of the tri-oval, and if you hit that every time, depending on what type of wheel you drive, and I recently switched to a Thrustmaster T300 RS GT, and with that being a dual belt drive wheelbase, that really jerks the fucking wheel in your hand bad. So if these guys are running on a direct drive or a CSW or anything that puts out a decent amount of torque, running that low line there and running over that pothole lap after lap after lap, that takes a lot of skill because you can easily lose the car over that, which is why a lot of times you see the guys dip the car a little bit low or they'll run a little bit higher just in that one section of the track to avoid that one god-awful annoying bump.
Maybe we should start the rumor that it's Jimmy Hoffa's body buried there.
Well, nobody knows what the hell that is, so it very well might be there at Talladega. It definitely wasn't in the football field that Mythbusters tried to find. There'll be 13 laps to go when they take the line this time by. It's going to be interesting to see how the 8 and the 81 play together, whether the 81's going to give it to the 8 or if they're just going to have a good old-fashioned knockdown, drag-out, drag race back to the finish line, as Mark is running full season this time. I know last season when we were covering this, he didn't get a full year in, so he wasn't there. As now we see he's going to get broken up here as they're going to get taken 3 wide by the 87 and the 20, the 44 and the 4. So 3 wide going through 3 and 4. We see the 81 getting picked up by the 58 of Jim Peterson. The 18 of Gary Champion is going to get in the mix there as well. As not, they're still 3 wide. As they're going to back off and regather. I think for a 3-wide attempt, I would want at least 4 cars going with me, but when it happened, where it happened, I think that wasn't a planned move. I think that was, hey, we really friggin' need to get over there, otherwise something bad's gonna happen move, so everybody shuffled back in order here. Now they're back 2 by 2 as they come to the line. We see the 18 of Gary Champion has gotten around the 8 of Dana Osborne. The score that lap to the 18 of Gary Champion. As we see now the 8 quick to get back on the outside line. He wants to get back around the 18 and he's going to do so going into 3 with the help from his teammate, the 81.
Just got a report, Art, out of the 58 camp of Jim Peterson. He has indeed put his bong down and he is ready to race.
ZFG in full effect right now. Let's see what Jim can do. Right now he is being scored in the 4th position. So you see the 58 getting stuck up there on the high groove. That's not necessarily going to be a good thing, as right now everybody's going to set sail down the backstretch here. We see the 4 of Justin Levine hooking up to the back of the 81 of Jorgensen Jr. The 88 of Gregory Thompson there.
He spilled his bong.
Ah, shit. I hate when that happens. Luckily, he had the 88, though, of Gregory Thompson there to pick him up, so he's not going to fall off pace too bad, but one would worry about where that bong water got spilled. As we see the 81 there got shuffled out a little bit there by the 4. He was able to regather it. Almost lost the car there. They are 3 wide through turns 1 and 2. We see the 20 of Pondo Co. stuck out there on the high side, but it looks like the 99 of Tom LaBar was going to go with him. We see the 54 of Chris Akers. We got to give that guy, we got to take him to a bar after the race and buy him a few rounds of beers. I don't know how the hell he is staying out on the track with a car that's doglegging that damn bad and still able to keep it under control. That's some great driving right there. So we're down into single-digit laps now. We see the run that the outside is getting here through 1 and 2. The 81 right now is clear to drop down in front of his teammate, but I don't think he wants to do that. He's trying to keep the 4 at bay, which right now would be the smart move. And if I know anything about trying to keep somebody at bay, I'd kind of be trail braking a little bit or letting out the throttle just a little bit to stall out the upper groove to maintain supremacy there of the front row. And once again at the line easily, it will be the 8 of Dana Osborne leading his 30th lap of the night. So there's no way in hell anybody's going to be able to touch that number. So give most laps led here to the 8 of Dana Osborne. So you see the 4 of Justin Levine. He's looking like he's tired of riding behind the 81. He's wanting somebody to go with him there and leave the 81 in the sucker hole. But right now there's not anybody close enough to that 4 car to where he can take advantage of it, or he doesn't want to possibly end up getting shuffled out and then have to recycle the tail end of the line there. As we see the 3 of Paul Servant there getting lapped by the field. Heavy damage there on that 3 machine. He was involved in the last caution there. The net code between him and the 20 of Pondo Co. is now we see once again the 81 clear of his teammate, but he's opting to stay on the high groove there.
Yeah, you got to wonder how long it's going to be till the 4 of Justin Levine just gets tired of it, just goes around him. I mean, you can only sit behind someone for so long.
Well, it's 5 laps to go here at the stripe, and we saw there through the trial. Well, there we go. Justin Levine dropping down to the bottom side. The 81 is going to be all over that one. We see the 8 go around.
Caution, caution, caution.
That is going to set us up for a green-white checker finish there. That was a dicey turn of events there, and we're going to start by looking at the 4, because we saw him make the lane switch down there. He was definitely tired of the 81 trying to block the line there, so we're going to start with the 4, watch what happened from there, and then see the aftermath. Actually, we're going to start with the 16 instead. Alright, so we're backing it up a little bit. See, right there is where Justin makes the move down. See a little bit of contact there between the cars. Everybody else there fared, the 4 fared well, the 81 fared well, but we know the 8 of Dana Osborne definitely got the shit under the stick on that, so we're going to go for a ride with him. And we're going to go in cockpit with him. Alright, so watch for the 4 car to drop down in front here. We see the 81, that's the 8's teammate. We're going to see the 4 here make a move down in front of the 8, right there. 81 comes down the block, we see a little bit of smoke there, and there we see the contact. Nothing that the 8 can do. It's a hard impact into the wall there. As you can see, he's got that wheel cranked there. Nothing he could really do. Judging by how that car's revving up like that, I think he's got a wheel off the ground. And word through the tower is the 8 has called it a night there with that one. As we can see the... So unfortunate for the 8 of Dana Osborne. He had led the most laps here tonight, but unfortunately he's going to take that machine behind the wall. As we are going to be set up here, if we don't get a 1 to green, we will go into the one and only green-white checker restart that's allotted. The next flag that would end the race, if the caution were to come back out before they made it around, whatever flag comes out will be the deciding factor on who wins this. Now, Mike, this is going to be the most important restart here with the 81 with the lead, and we know that the 4 was fed up with it. Are we going to see some extremely aggressive racing between these two on the restart? And I don't want to hear the one word that we heard last week.
Well, here's what it's going to really boil down to. Right now, you got the 81 on the inside line with the 16 pushing. I'm not saying anything bad about the 16, but the 87 seems to be a better pusher than the 16. So right now, I'd probably chalk up the advantage to Justin. I think Ray will give him a good shot, and Mark's got a little bit of rear damage, so I don't know how well all this stuff's lining up right now. But yep, here comes insanity.
I knew the word was coming, and I knew you were saving it for last, but I do have to agree with you. Rittenhauer is definitely one hell of a pusher, and if there's anybody that you ever wanted to restart behind you, it would definitely be the 87. And knowing that the 87 has worked with the 4 before and vice versa, the 4 has helped the 87, that there's definitely going to be an alliance on that one. And hitting them to the point with the damage that we can see there on the rear spoiler and TV panel of the 81, that's going to be one thing to look at, as well as how aggressive the 16 and Chris Brown is going to be here on the restart as well. If he can match the 87, then we might be in for something. But as of right now, I would probably be in the same boat as you. I'd put the advantage to the 4 and the 87 here, as hopefully we'll get to do this without a green-white checker. But nonetheless, it's going to be interesting to see what the hell happens here. This is definitely going to be an interesting finish. And once again, while we're under caution, we'll go ahead and take a quick sponsor break, and we're going to return with, I think, the keyword of the night, insanity. Alright, hopefully this time by we do see the lights on the pace car go out, and that will signal that we will get an iRacing green-white checker. And another interesting thing to note, with a clean car, it's going to be restarting 5th, the 20 of Pondo Co. We can't rule him out either. We've seen speed out of that 20 camp, so there's a lot of variables. I mean, we know that the 20 and the 87, they work together, so this is definitely going to be interesting to see if maybe the 20 jumps up to the outside line here on the restart, as well as the 44. Like right there's a dangerous combination. The 44, the 20, and the 87. They've all got history. They've all driven for the same team before DFA folded. They were all under the same stable, so it's definitely going to be an interesting call as the lights on the pace car are out. So restarting with the race lead will be the 81 of Mark Jorgensen Jr. And we see heating up the tires there a little bit. The 4 of Justin Levine, he'll be restarting 2nd. The 16 of Chris Brown 3rd. The 87 of Raymond Rittenhauer 4th. The 20 of Pondo Co 5th. The 44 of David Anderson 6th. 88 of Gregory Thompson 7th. The 58 of Jim Peterson 8th. The 97 of Jeremy Funk 9th. And the 99 of Tom LaBarre is going to run at the top 10. And directly behind him, though, last car on the lead lap, the 2 of Rick Seabrand. So really, I have no clue what's going to happen here. All right, now we just got word through the tower that if the yellow comes out, that will not end the race. They will have to race back to the line. So if they do wreck on the backstretch or whatever, it's going to be a free-for-all. Whoever can get back to the start-finish line will be the race winner. As they make their way into turn 3 here, we're about a quarter lap away from seeing the insanity happen here. That outside line is looking pretty promising though. The 4, the 87, and the 44 are all hooked up. That's definitely, and the 58 too. Well, no, look at that. Everything is just, this is brewing to be the perfect storm right here. You see the pace car make its way down. Is the 81 gonna time something with the 16 and get a little bit of a jump here, or what are we gonna see? Right now it looks like it's gonna be a green flag. We see the 87 right up the 4's ass, so we know what's gonna happen on this restart.
Green flag.
Green flag's out. Let's see if Justin can get it done here with the help of the 87, the 44, the 58, the 99. We see the 2 of Rick Seabrand. He's going to jump to the outside line as well. Now this is white flag lap here, so moves are going to get made, now is the time to do it. And my guess is going to be we're going to see it come off of turn 4. We see things get shook up big time. Contact for the 81 go around. Now it's going to be a battle of attrition. Who can survive?
Out. Caution's out. Be ready with, there you go, be ready with that brake cleaning stuff, guys. Your blower, they're going to drop down some oil dry here, I'm sure.
And right now being scored. And at the line, it's going to be the 97 of Jeremy Funk. He's going to pull it off here as they race back to the stripe. Coming in second will be the 2 of Rick Seabrands. All right, so we saw it there. Insanity definitely was the word. That was a gigantic clusterfuck on the backstretch as there was just cars everywhere. But out of nowhere, the 97 that we see there rocking the Wounded Warrior paint scheme, the 97 of Jeremy Funk will be tonight's race winner. So that right there is how you get it done. It's clean. You see right there the 2 Rick Seabrands. He restarted towards the tail end of, he was the last car on the lead lap in 11th. He's going to get a second place out of this, as they are required to race this one out here. That way it gets official. The race is already done. They just have to go around and get the session state to a finish. That way they can do the proper scoring. I think the only way to coin that one is the great, one of the greatest quotes from racing ever. And aggressive goes around! As once they cross the line here, that will put this race in the books. It'll make it official. They have to get to the line, as we're undoubtedly going to see the 97 hopefully burn it down. All right, so our top 3 is going to consist of Jeremy Funk, Rick Seabrands, and Raymond Rittenauer. So we're going to bring in our 3rd place finisher, the 87 of Raymond Rittenauer. All right, Ray, you got to walk us through what the hell that was on the backstretch there.
You guys got me?
Yep, we got you.
Yeah, I don't know there. I just went low, and luckily I missed everything.
That one, I think, was coined back at Watkins Glen with Martin Truex when the aggressive goes around was brought out, and that's definitely what we saw there. But we knew that last restart was going to be the most critical. We knew that with the 81 and the 4 restarting, we know how good of a pusher you are, and to have the 44 of Anderson behind you, you've worked with him a lot in the past, that was definitely going to be good for Justin on the restart. But unfortunately, sometimes dumber things happen. That's what we did see happen on the backstretch, but perseverance paid off. You kept the car clean through it, and you brought it home 3rd. Great podium night, and most importantly, I think he survived it, and one of the few drivers that's not going to be sitting in the infield care center with a concussion.
No.
We want to congratulate you on the 3rd place finish. Is there anybody out there that you would like to thank?
Yeah, I'd like to thank Lucky Dogs Doggy Daycare for coming on for a sponsor tonight, and Dwayne for all he does here in the league, Homes Now, and you guys for putting on a hell of a broadcast.
All right, once again, congratulations on the 3rd, and we will see you next week at Daytona.
All right, thank you.
That was our 3rd place finisher, the 87 of Raymond Rittenauer. Now we're going to bring in our 2nd place, the 2 of Rick Seabrands. Rick, that looked a hell of a lot like what we drove through last night in that hosted race. Walk us through it.
Yeah, I can't believe what happened there. It just, I don't know what happened up front, but I just seen carnage, a bunch of smoke, and we just kept hammered down, went below, and luckily we got through it. I can't believe we got through that. Normally, the way our races have been going lately, we've been the ones getting caught up and stuff like that. So feels good to get through one of those. Just got to thank Yeti, Sim Nation Racing, and Dwayne, Holmes Now. Everybody that puts these shows on.
Well, me and Mike were talking about it earlier. We know with that Yeti paint scheme that you're hooking Brett Bodine up with a badass top of the line cooler to keep his beer cool in that pace car. So I think Brett might have been looking out for you.
He thanks me every time he drinks beer too, because it stays the coldest and the freshest.
Oh, he was drinking high on the horse tonight. He was rocking a full cooler of Beck's, which we know is not cheap beer. So great points
only
tonight.
The best for him.
Second place is definitely good seeing how this one counts, although last night we were racing it like it counted. I know I had a hell of a blast last night racing with you, Pondo, and Tom. It was definitely what we've been prone to see here with the typical plate track finish here. You've got people that are in contention for it. We know how aggressive Mark is on restarts. We saw how fed up Justin was when Mark was stalling out the upper line. He made the move down to the inside, which set us up for the perfect storm. And luckily, that Yeti machine made it through without a scratch.
Yeah, we were kicking ass last night. Cyber Racing was well represented last night, and we put on a good show tonight, too. I just hate that we had that last little incident there, but we'll get that kind of stuff cleaned up, and we'll be having some nice green flag finishes.
All right. Is there anybody else out there that you would like to thank?
Dwayne, my teammates, Tom, we worked real good together tonight. Holmes Now. We'll come back and get him next week.
Well, once again, congratulations on the second and keeping that car clean, and we will see you next week at Daytona.
Thanks, guys.
All right, and apparently our race winner did not stay in TeamSpeak, so we do not have a interview for the race winner. But we all know that the 97 of Jeremy Funk did bring it home with the win there after that insanity on the backstretch. So, Mike, kind of weird not interviewing the winner, but any final words before we wrap this one up and head back to Florida?
Yeah, I mean, it's a strange night. I mean, I did call it though. I did say insanity. I mean, it's just typical plate track racing, and especially with a green white checker, and you got to go for it, especially with wins being so important in this league. And it's good to see Jeremy Funk win. And at the beginning of the race, I would have probably never ruled him in contention, but he was smart. He stayed in the back, and when all shit broke loose, he was the one that drove right by everyone.
Great job by the 87, the 2, and the 97, avoiding all that as it seemed the entire field got collected in that wreck. But I especially want to thank everybody who tuned in tonight despite our technical difficulties. We were able to get those things hashed out. I wish it didn't happen, but unfortunately it was circumstances out of my hands. But if it keeps happening like this, it won't be for much longer. But I especially want to thank everybody out there for watching, everybody here at Cyber Racing for putting on these great races. Dwayne spends a shit ton of money week in, week out to put these series on, this being the flagship series, as well as Jim Peterson for coming on board with Homes Now, the series sponsor for this series here. Now, as we move into tomorrow night, we will be live at 7:15 Central with the Die Hard Racing League as they get set to go 200 laps at Martinsville Speedway in the Monster Energy Cup cars in the JMR Outdoors American Hero Hunt Cup Series, which will be live on the portal, but unfortunately they screwed up again and have it an hour late. So you guys will be tuning in about an hour into the race, but luckily you'll be able to rewind and catch the entire thing. But once again, everybody here at Cyber Racing, Homes Now, Die Hard Live TV, we want to thank you guys for tuning in. And don't forget, you'll find us here every Saturday night broadcasting as we'll return next week at Daytona with the open trucks which always seems to be a little bit more interesting, seeing how not everybody's on an equal playing field, and the trucks aren't pointed like a shovel at the front and a 2x4 nailed to the back of the car. But that's going to do it for us. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you guys enjoyed the show despite all the technical fuck-ups. We appreciate everything, and we will see you guys next time.